Alrighty, what is going on, guys? And in this video, I'm going to be going through what happened last night on Monday Night Raw, the 16th of June, 2014. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, my review on the show, and of course go through the results and highlights and what transpired on the show last night. So first things first, we had the Authority, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon coming out addressing the entire WWE Monday Night Raw roster, I guess you could say, and they made it clear that they had two open spots for the WWE World Heavyweight Title Money in the Bank match that will take place at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, of course. And they were coming out here to announce the how they were going to fill those two spots. First of which is a battle royal that's going to take place later in the night. And the superstars that are not eligible to compete are, of course, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and John Cena, because they are not following the rules of the company, so to put it, as they spoke. And then the other option to get into the Money in the Bank ladder match that was in the main event of the show, it was going to be John Cena versus Kane in a structure match, and the winner of that match got put into the Money in the Bank match. But in the opening contest, we get Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler, which ends in a disqualification. In my opinion, this was a really good match, even though it is the third time they have fought in the past week, a lot of them being on SmackDown. Ziggler and Rollins are so smooth and efficient in the ring. Ziggler was in control when he hit a big DDT, and then he tried the Famouser. Rollins was then able to hit two powerbombs into the corner and hit his finisher, which is something I really like, stomping their head into the mat. Then out comes Dean Ambrose, who wants to brawl with Rollins, and he is then, which causes the disqualification, and he is then set up in a match with Bad News Barrett, thanks to Triple H doing a very bad News Barrett impersonation on the Titantron. Next up, then we had Bad News Barrett defeating Dean Ambrose via disqualification, as these two straight matches kick off Raw, and they were both great in different ways. This match with Bad News Barrett and Dean Ambrose, unlike Ziggler and Rollins, was a physical and old school kind of match. Being there, you can tell both of these guys are over if you can hear the live crowd. I really like the in-ring psychology between the two. Ambrose sold how strong and dominant Barrett can look as the Intercontinental Champion. Barrett added also a few submission moves to his arsenal, and at the end of the match, Rollins distracted Ambrose and Barrett picked up the win. If I remember correctly, it was via countout. Ambrose would end up coming back in, hitting his finisher after the match already ended. And so this makes the first 45 minutes of Raw, and in my opinion, it was excellent thanks to these two matches that are carrying the show. A smooth segue helped the night kick off the right way. So in terms of a score for the first 45 minutes of the show, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. This is the first time in, I want to say, 4 to 6 weeks that I've actually kept through watching Raw through the first hour. I usually have gotten bored of it, and I turn the TV off, and I'll just go figure out something else to do. But I'm really, after these first 45 minutes, after these first two matches, I'm really liking where Raw's going, and I'm hoping they can keep it up, which they end up doing. Let's keep talking about that. Next, we have Bray Wyatt coming out and talking about Money in the Bank, but he also puts his brothers over for the Tag Team Championships, his brothers being Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Wyatt says that power is the championships in WWE. Wyatt says he can really have the whole world in his hands. This leads to Sheamus coming out disagreeing, and we get Sheamus versus Bray Wyatt. This match was once again another good bout, one that we have rarely seen before from these two. Wyatt hits a backdrop, but Sheamus is able to find an opening by getting his knees up. Both men slug it out in the middle of the ring until Sheamus hits a clothesline. Sheamus hits his chops to the chest and a scoop slam. He sets up for a brogue kick, but the Wyatt family and Usos get involved. Of course, the Usos now finally have an actual reason to come down to the ring instead of just to be in John Cena's corner. The Usos get involved. They run up the ladder and hit Harper and Rowan with a splash. That was a pretty awesome segment. The ladder is chucked at them, and the faces stand tall, being Sheamus and the Usos. I really love this because it gives you some drama for the Tag Team Champions. We rarely see it. We rarely see drama for the Tag Team titles. The Usos always seem to lose the big moment or be overshadowed by the Wyatt family. Nothing can really hurt the Wyatts right now with the crowd. They are so over like Rover. But Sheamus and the Usos is better right now than Cena. Let Cena move on to other people. Get him out of Bray Wyatt. Give him someone else to feud with. In terms of a score, I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10 as well. Really kept me watching Raw. Next up, we had Heath Slater, now the one-man band. Unfortunately, one of the commentators mentioned it that Heath Slater, or Drew McIntyre, and Jinder Mahal were no longer a part of 3MB. And it looks like Slater is now a face, but he is taking on Rusev, and of course Rusev comes out and gets the Putin, Lana, and all that. But Rusev ends up defeating Heath Slater. Rusev is really growing, and he will continue, hopefully, to be used in higher spotlights in the future. I really sort of like how they are building him and Lana right now. They're not just building Rusev, but they're bringing Lana in. And tonight, though, it was more about Rusev than Lana. They kind of gave Lana the lower talking segment, and they gave Rusev a lot more of the spotlight. Heath Slater actually got a little bit of offense in. In terms of a score, this one's going to be a 5 out of 10. But right now, I'm starting to like the one-man band. Hopefully, things look up for him. Next up, we had Summer Rae and Adam Rose defeating Layla and Fandango in a mixed tag team match. Kevin Hart was on commentary. When Summer Rae and Layla, they run off midway through the match, Rose ducks a clothesline and hits the party foul, which is very similar to Dean Ambrose's finisher. I think if he just kept it with the spine buster, it would be that much better. Kevin Hart's on commentary, as I said, and after the match, he begins to dance in the ring, of course, with Adam Rose. It was a nice filler for a few minutes. Hart is hilarious, very small, and is still a huge piece of pop culture, especially with his new movie, like Think Like a Man 2. This is good for WWE in many ways. Do you like Adam Rose, or do you just like his song right now? Because personally, I'm liking his song quite a bit. Score of this one, 4.5 out of 10. So next up, this is kind of midway through the second hour. We have Roman Reigns winning the Battle Royal. And as mentioned earlier, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H banned him from the Battle Royal, but then he used his little flirtatious tricks on Vicky Guerrero, and Vicky Guerrero ended up putting him in the Battle Royal, which, Roman Reigns put something in Stephanie McMahon's coffee that Vicky Guerrero gave her, and then Stephanie McMahon throws up on Vicky Guerrero. It was just a mess. So Roman Reigns is entered into the ladder match at Money in the Bank. This was a fun Battle Royal because of all the young pieces involved. We didn't see a lot of the big guys. We saw Bo Dallas, we saw Santino, we saw Fandango, Ryback. Reigns was the best part, obviously, by getting the crowd hot with every move. At one point, he even hit a double spear. He faced off a few times against Rusev and Ryback, of course, the bigger guys of the match. The final guys in the match were Reigns, Bo Dallas, Rusev, Big E, and Barrett. This was very interesting for me because both Bo Dallas and Rusev are undefeated. So, of course now, I don't know if they're actually going to mention this for Bo Dallas because I know he's going with that huge undefeated streak type thing, but he technically, I think he is defeated. But Bo Dallas is able to scoop Big E out of the ring while Reigns tosses Barrett out. Reigns spears Bo Dallas, throws him over the ring. It comes down to Reigns and Rusev, the two big guys, which the crowd loved. It was an electric feeling inside of the ring, seeing these two young guns aim for a chance to fight for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Rusev hits a spinning heel kick, and the heel is ready to crush. He hits a splash in the corner, but Reigns gets him back, hits him with a Superman punch, and picks up the win by eliminating Rusev, of course. Roman Reigns excites the crowd. He has that intensity in the ring, and he's continuing to get the big push. Of course, he's still keeping with the Shield gear, and he's the only guy left with the Shield music. Both Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins have new music. He will not win the World Championship, most likely, but he will be an excellent piece to the puzzle in 2 weeks at Money in the Bank. This was a breakout night for Reigns, even though he has had many of these great nights in recent memory. In terms of a score, this one was an 8 out of 10, so far the highest moment of the night. Still, I'm continuing to watch Raw as we're in the third hour now. Surprisingly, I'm watching Raw. And the next match is a Divas match, and Paige defeats Cameron. It really sucks that the crowd has no interest in Paige right now. I like her look, her intensity, and her finishing move. Just the PTO needs a different name to make it sound more intense. The one thing I really don't like about her is her entrance. She doesn't seem to have a lot of emotion when she comes down to the ring with that Divas Championship. I really think she has the opportunity to bring the prestige back to the Divas title, get rid of the total Divas crap that we've been seeing. It just seems like WWE does not give her the right opponent to work with. Working with Cameron is not going to be the best thing for her right now. It seems to be a rotating door of opponents instead of a legit feud. You know, we've gone through Tamina Snuka, Alicia Fox, Cameron, Oksana, who's now gone. In terms of a score, that little segment is a 3 out of 10. Not really great for me. Cameron didn't really show much in that match. And next up was something I really like, and is the thumbnail of this video, is Cody Rhodes is now Stardust. Yes, Goldust's new partner. This is going to be interesting. Rhodes dresses as some Kiss lookalike, and the fans seem to enjoy it, especially me. He was trending on Twitter, Stardust, and Rhodes has a new finisher. It was a reverse bulldog from the top rope. All you need to know is this. Cody or Goldust will turn on one another in a few weeks. Unfortunately, I mean, even though I really like where they're going, Goldust and Stardust, it's pretty hilarious, but it's going to happen. One will realize they are better than the other, especially now that they're similar characters, and the long feud of brothers will end up getting a pay-per-view match. Thankfully, Rhodes is able to pull off any gimmick, even this one. From a pretty boy to a gruesome masked wrestler, dashing Cody Rhodes, Rhodes will do whatever is needed to get on television. That really does say a lot about him. In terms of a score, I'm going to give that one a 6 out of 10, just because I thought Stardust was a pretty interesting character. It's now main event time, as we had John Cena versus Kane in a stretcher match. Say what you want, but this was a really good main event. Kane, in my opinion, will never be viewed as WWE views him for the rest of his career. He's not really the Demon Kane as WWE wants us to see him. How can you be scared of a guy that consistently loses? I mean, Cena picks up the win in a match that had interferences by Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose comes out to help Cena and gets revenge on Rollins, but finally both men are battling and Cena launches the steel steps onto Kane, which reminded me of Payback when he threw them on Bray Wyatt. Cena rolls Kane in the stretcher, but Kane rises up. Cena reverses a chokeslam and hits an AA onto the stretcher for the win. So John Cena wins and enters the WWE World Heavyweight Championship ladder match as the final guy. But in the ladder match, I'm going to speak about that for a sec. I just really want Cena to make the younger guys look like stars and not take control of the match. Hopefully he won't win the match. I feel like that is what he is entered in there for, to put the younger guys over, to put Roman Reigns over, to make him look strong and tough. But that segment, so John Cena defeats Kane in the stretcher match, and the score of that segment was a 7.5 out of 10, in my opinion. Overall, for Raw, I watched surprisingly all 3 hours of the show. That's a very big emphasis for me because I haven't watched a full Raw in months, or not months, but quite a month and a half, 2 months. In terms of a final score for Raw, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Higher than what I would have given it after looking at results and highlights and reviews from last week and the week before that, as Raw just didn't interest me in the last weeks. But this really brought my attention back into Monday Night Raw. Money in the Bank is coming up in 2 weeks. Hit the like button down below if you agree with my review. Let me know your feedback in the comment section below, of course, on what you thought of Raw. What do you guys think of Stardust? I really like him as a persona personally, but we know that probably won't go on for long. I guess that's basically it. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Peace out, guys.